Welcome to the morning math. Let's do 3 problems, okay? The first one for 4th graders is a line plot. And what they're going to want us to do is add them all together. So here's the question. The line plot shows the distances in miles that Rex walks on 7 days. Now, enter the total distance in miles that he walked. So the total distance is everything combined. Now, I'm going to recreate this line chart so you can see it better. And it's broken up into quarters, okay? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 tick marks over here. The first one is 1 1/4 miles, and then skips 1 and then goes 1 3/4, and then skips 1, 2 1/4, 2 3/4, and 3 1/4. Okay, so these are all 1/4 increments, which means this right here is 1 1/2. This is 2, so I'm gonna just make them really small. Well, I don't want to put them up there, but you can see that they're all done by quarters. Now, it says there's 1x on 1 3/4. Okay, so we have he's walked 1 3/4, and then he walked here, which is 2 plus 2, and he walked 3 here. Now, this is 2 1/2, right? So what's 2 1/2 plus 2 1/2? Well, 2 plus 2 is 4, and 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. Together is 5. Okay, so that's those. So 5 plus another 2 1/2 would be 5 plus 2 is 7 plus 1/2, which is 7 1/2, plus 7 1/2. And let's see, we've got one more here, which is 3, and 1 down here, which is 3 1/4. Now, here's the nice thing. All the denominators, they're not the same. Well, we can change 1/2 to 1/4 to fourths, right? 1/2 is the same as 2/4. So let's change this to 2/4. And then we don't have to mess with denominators. Okay, so let's add these together, because here's our problem. It looks a little complicated, but let's do the whole numbers first, okay? What's 1 plus 2? 3 plus 7 is 10. Okay, 10 plus 3 is 13. 13 plus 3, 16. Okay, so there's our whole number. Now we have a 3/4 plus 2/4 plus 1/4. Well, let's do this. Let's take 1/4 plus 3/4. What does that equal? 1. Okay, so that's going to make this 17. And what do we have left? 2/4? Well, 2/4 is 1/2. Let's just add it on. 17 1/2 miles. It was a lot of steps, but none of the math was very difficult. Okay, easy fractions, easy addition. Just take your time when you get to problems like this, okay? Okay, let's move on to some 5th grade stuff. Let's see what we got here. Look, another line. Here we go. Chris and Ben walked home from school. The distance Chris walked in miles is represented by C on the number line. Let's make our number line. Okay. And let's see, we have 0 here. And how many do we have? Make sure you get the right increments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then this is 1. Is that right? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now C, the point C is right here. Okay, Chris and Ben walked home from school. The distance Chris walked in miles is represented by C on the number line. Well, we have to figure out what C is, okay? So if this is 0 and this is 1, it's broken up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 increments, okay? So if we did half would be 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 half, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 whole. Okay, now C would then be, well, if this is 1/4 and this is 3/4, well, let's change these to the right. Let's do this. Let's do this because that can be a little confusing. This is 1/8. Let's just mark this out. 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. That's a little bit easier. Now, it says Ben walked 1/4 mile less than Chris walked. Okay, so Ben marked. Oh, we gotta figure out quarters, huh? I don't know about this. So let's see what we can do. Well, if he walked here, which is 6/8, I need to turn that into quarters. Well, what is 6/8? 6/8 is actually 3/4. Right? Divide both by 2. Now, if I need to subtract 1/4 from that, my new problem looks like this. 3/4 minus 1/4. What does that equal? That equals 2/4, which equals 1/2. So the distance that Ben walked is 1/2. Not bad. Okay, let's move on. And remember, I'll put some problems up like this for you guys to work on today. Okay, last one. 6th graders. Percent. Oh boy. Ethan correctly answered 80% of the total questions. So 80% is our percent. Okay, and he got 30. He answered 32 questions correct. They want to know how many questions were on the test. All right, well, we have 2 options. With percent, we usually divide or multiply. Let's see what we can do. Now, the first thing we're going to do is turn this into a decimal. You guys remember how we do that? Okay, so we're going to take away the percent, and we're going to move our decimal over 2 places. Becomes 0.8 or 8/10. Now, for this one, in order to find the total number, we're actually going to divide 8/10 into 32, and that's going to give us our total number. So here's what our problem is going to look like. 8/10 divided into 32. Now, when we divide, we don't want to have this decimal out here, so let's move it back to here. And if we move it back here, we have to move it back here as well. We're pretty much multiplying both by 10 to get rid of that decimal. Now, how many times does 8 fit into 32? 4 times? Subtract 0, 0. Ah, look. 40 questions. Now, here's the thing. Let's see if it passes the logic test. If he got 80% right, which is pretty good, right? That's like a B. And he got 32. Does 32 out of 40 sound like about 80%? That's pretty close, right? So it passes the logic test. 6th graders, I'll put some percent up for you to work on today. See you guys.